Hello and welcome back, guys. So in this particular session, what we'll be doing is we have a question set about Linux Essentials only. So Linux Essentials 2.0 Final Comprehensive Exam. This is from CISCO. That's where it is from. Okay, so since they don't have a randomized one, we are just going to attempt this one. Yeah. So it's like same questions. Okay, it's randomized, I think. Yeah, I think it moves down and back. Yeah, it's a bit randomized. Okay, got it. Okay, let's attempt. How many questions do we have? We have 70 questions, so let's attempt them. What does it say? The number of users logged in is in a variable called users. Okay, so in order to access a variable, we have dollar users, right? So how would you test if the user is logged in, right? So in order to have a test, like it's something like equals to 5, right? You have user equals to, if this equals to print something, right? So this is how you would do Python, but in I think it's a bit different. So let's just write it. So I think it's going to be test at the beginning, and it's not going to be equals to, that is false. Not f as well, that is false. Not comma as well, that is false. This one, it's a is not an a valid operator. In I think it's not written that way. I think it's this one. Yeah, that's not only think, I believe that works. So visit the manual pages. You start manual pages. So first string is basically always with forward slash, right? Forward slash for forward searches. For backward searches, you type question mark. That's the answer. So about Apple, it's like 3.3 solutions. Right? So Apple is not derived from Linux, so that is out of the way. Oops, that is out of the way. So able to run native Windows binaries cannot be run over here. So just to manage net services, not really. That's not the whole purpose of this operating system, right? Another partly based on code from BST, free BST. That's correct. Tightly integrated with Apple Android. That's correct. Only certified Unix distribution. That is correct. Let's just write it down. I mean, this is marked as well. Clear the screen. Embedded systems are like something which does a specialized kind of task. Let's see what we have. Companies must say they change it. That's not enough. You can use community source code. That's not correct. Windows can change its other into other software. That's not it. Users must support the system themselves. That is somewhat correct, because for an embedded system you need to support, but you might have like embedded system with an operating system which could be like, let's say, CentOS, right? Why not embedded systems? Or CentOS with some kind of, you could have like a Red Hat with some kind of thing as well, right? Commercial versions, that's possible. But I think that's this one designed to be specific tasks, designed to do specific tasks of hardware optimized for that purpose, like IoT devices, right? Smartwatches, that kind of stuff. And it's out of the way as well. Let's see. The if command looks for exit code to consider continuing to be true. So it's always should be zero, because output of command should be always zero, so that we know it's running properly, right? So group mod can add users to a group. That is false, because why is that false? I think that's the logic behind it. False, because otherwise you just create a random group like Bob, and then you can just add the root to it, and then we would do all sort of stuff, right? So that's not correct. That should not happen. Right? Otherwise, anyone would add a middle group and then add users to it, so it's not correct. Microsoft Windows, right? Is in backward compatible. That is correct. It offers both desktop and server products. That is correct. Not even compatible for the sort of minus just scripting called PowerShell. That's correct. Has a new desktop every year. That is incorrect. So let's just mark it as well. That's not correct. That's not correct. It's not correct. So all these three are correct, right? Okay. Moving on. What we have, CP commands must provide source and destination. That's correct because you would have like let's say CP from the current desktop, just copy everything from here to this recursive, right? Copy everything from this desktop to something, let's say home. Okay, it could be something like that. So what's a virtual machine? What are hosts and guests, right? So host is the machine that runs the guest. So what do we have over here? Host is a virtual machine, that's incorrect. Guest is a virtual machine, that's correct. The terms can be used interchangeably, not really. It's not synonym. The guest is the machine that runs the nope, it's incorrect. The host is the machine that runs the virtual machine, that's correct. So these two options, this and this. All right. Free software foundation basically choose to. Right, so free software foundation is basically about Richard Stallman. So it's basically you can study the software, modify the software, and make changes to it. Whatever. So should be able to modify, that's correct. Should not have copyright, that does not. That is correct, I think. It does not specify about money. It's not free as a free beer. It's free as in freedom, right? Free software foundation, not OSI kind of thing. It should be free to share. Software should be free to share. That is correct. Free to share. Share it to others. We would charge money for it. That's incorrect. So it is too hard answer. Because you could like charge the money to share it as well as mobile. So error commands, error messages sent by command are generally simple, standard errors. That's general question. Ls commands without option ingredients just lists out the contents of the current directory, right? Not the contents of home directory or generates an error. There's a prompt for directory to list. No, it does not prompt. It's not directive. I don't think ls has I as well. Which is one command will set the UID for this thing. Okay, so we have to set up UID. What we need to do is, so user ID will be 4. So what I mean by this is read write s. Okay, so that's the UID for the user. That's how it looks like. So RWS. Okay, so it just defines who is the owner and everything. So in order to set that, it's 4, and then what kind of permissions do you want to give? So it's 755. This is there is only 4 at the beginning. So one is like for others. Group is 2 for UID, okay, for the sticky bit or what we want to call it. Others can't modify that. Like it can be readable and writable globally, but they can't. User it's 4. Okay, so 4257. So it could be 777. So triple digit, 4 digit. It's like about sticky bit and all. Okay, if you have not read about it, you should. But that's a gist of it. Okay, so 7 is like for read, write, execute. It's 4 to 1. Okay, so similarly, user is 4, group is 2, others is 1 for the sticky bit. So that will be 7, right? So that's, if you want to give all access to a user, it could be 7, and then for group you could give them 7 as well. For others as well, you could give them 7, but you can add some of this sticky bit as well. So that's like 777, right? And then if you want to give similar kind of like if you want to just give like user only for, let's say, if you want to only set sticky bit for the user, like let's say it's a directory and read write s and then read write x. So if you just want to do that, your group will be 0, your others will be 0, so it will be 4, right? So your actual answer will be 477. So 4-digit 477. And that's it. Create a hard link to a file, right? File. So that's like, how does this work? Is the syntax for ln is link file is target file, and then your destination file. Okay, target file and then your destination file. So we have to create a link to this file. So that just means ln file, and then you have the other name, the link, or like the file that will be created out. This is like hard link. So not that create a hard link, right? So soft link is you have to add -s switch in front of them. So in this case, I think it's going to be this one. All right, so the value of 0 in the minimum password is fields means the user cannot change the password. That's incorrect because it will be like 0 days in the beginning itself. ZID under 500 or 1000 is generally used for what kind of groups? It's for system use, right? Use of the command would list files that do not begin with TOW, right? So in order to make that happen, I think it's TW in a bracket and everything else, right? So exclamation at the beginning should be this one, and then it could be anything at the end. So let's see, anything not beginning with TOW and then exclamation mark. So it just says capital T and capital W, right? And that's why it's TW. Otherwise, we would have to write small t, small w, because Linux is case sensitive. Okay, remember that. It's a case sensitive language. So the directory contains a user's home directory. It's basically inside home, and then you have different users inside it. /home, /home, a user, /bob, same thing in the beginning. Okay, so all the users reside over there. So that's the home directory. Top level directory on Linux system is represented by / itself, right? Not anything else, not /home, not /root, /. Cloud computing, I think it does require this. Systems requires fewer resources because systems are shared, that's correct. Users allow work in real time, that's correct. It is made fast by, that's correct. Internet speeds, right? Because of the improvement in internet speeds, cloud computing is possible. Is useful revenues and reviews, all are correct. Good story of family photos and everything. So which file contains the information passed to the kernel at the boot time? I think it's this, because CMD line contains stuff like boot equals to, and then the location of VM lineage, menus, and then everything else, the self-extracting files and all. Okay, that's the variable that passes the information. I think so. Most of the manual command in the form of controlling the character. Okay, that's the correct answer. Service network restart just restarts the whole network, takes down everything, and then like just restarts the whole service, readits the configuration file, everything. If you make a configuration file right now, the network is running, it won't have do anything. So if you restart it, the network would be like, all the interface would be down and everything. Okay, so that's like physically doing it kind of thing. So if you do a reload only, it will just simply just read the configuration file. So you just don't have to have the network down. That brings up, like it takes down all the network and then reads communication. Then networking for the system is restarted. I think that's it. brings up network issues. That's it. That's how I think so. I'm just getting confused. So it first of all takes it down and then it reroutes it. The networking for the system is restarted. I think it brings up the interface. No, I think it takes down and then it does everything else. All right, so properties of strong password, right? So it's should be symbols and a mix of upper and lower 10 character, right? Basic stuff. Semicolon can be used to separate multiple commands to execute in order. That's correct. You can have like the echo and then cat together. Okay. Just show on permits group ownership done by root only. That's false. Anything can happen. PS in the current shell by default. That's correct. PS command shows only processes running in the current shell. That is correct, right? So that's after that one. Hard devices to communicate with the installed operating system. It's obviously what drivers. You type my file, zip my file that tar will happen. The file will be removed, of course, and then a compressed version of this will be this one, my file tar.cz will folder. Compressed version of my file.tar. That's correct. O is an example of environment variable, not a path variable. Path variable is something where you will have slash user slash bin, where you will have like all this, where all the commands location live. Okay, where all the command location will live. That's path variable. Environment variable is all the environment variable that is passed down for the cell to function. Right. The directory where additional documentation for the software packages can be found is user shared doc. That's the location that where it can be found. But usually info page or manual page should be enough. What does it mean when a work is placed in work terminal? So it just means that the copyright has been given up. The work has been done by government agency. That's not correct. That doesn't mean that you may use the work for commercial purpose. That's not correct. Authorized type no. Maybe you should just in this no. Relinquish the copyright in the work. That's correct. Used to find any file, just not commands or manual pages. It's not what is, it's not look, it's locate. Or where is, no. As for us, no. But locate, it's a static file system. This has a snapshot of the file system at a certain period of time. It just takes that and it's kind of it's static. Okay, so if you want to do that, you have to do sudo update db, otherwise your latest file that you have just created won't be located properly by this command. Will display IP address, so it's if config, not ipconfig. As Windows sets UID on directory, what will happen? So it will basically set the owner of all files in that directory and the group owner, like all the files within it. So it just will do like a recursive kind of thing. Okay, so it will just like tell everyone, okay, that's the group owner. Like all the files inside it will have like same group owner. That's it. So zip command replaces uncompressed. Nice with compressed files. That's true. Zip, right? Zip does that, not unzip. Unzip will basically replace compressed files with uncompressed files. Yeah, that's correct. Whichever one will display how long the system has been running since the boot. I think it's not who will just display the user, not ID. ID will just display like UID, GID, all these groups and everything. Whatever the user, current user is associated with, not SU is just used to do some other commands with from a user as other user. SU. It's history, right? We print the commands that has been previously executed. Be able to output messages to the screen. Basic echo copyleft version provisioning. Means you have to redistribute the work you make. Distribute the work to change it and you make. Like it doesn't mean you have to provide free, you have to give up the copyright, that's not correct. A link against third parties, closed source software, that's not correct. Support for your modifications, not. That's it. RSAT fingerprint allows the big command to connect to remote system. Not really. You just don't need RSAT fingerprint right there. You can just use something else. Pause. Which command will show what's inside the compressed tarball of thing is it's like hyphen T should be there. So tar hyphen T Z should be there. Z is like this, unzips it, and then file is that, right? TF won't do the magic because it's already compressed, otherwise it won't display it. We'll display, we'll list all the hidden files as well as the ownership. So it's LA because you need to see the ownership as well. Right. Sorry about that. Once that's out of the way, license where you don't have access to the source code is called closed source. A file that begins with hyphen, like hash, uh, exclamation box, hash pin slash thing, it's a shebang, and then it's like it invokes slash bin slash chs to interpret the rest of the files. Free command is about memory. Hidden files, it's always it begins with period. Egrep just means grep hyphen a or grep hyphen e, and then whatever you want to have pattern in the file name. Right, and then so that's it. Start or end. So it should contain the word start or end, right? So egrep should do it. Systems allow users to belong to how many groups? 16 groups. Yeah, 16 groups, I think so. Not sure about that. We just follow one can be used to display socket stats, major pocket socket types. Always SS. Nothing else. A route is like just gateway and other stuff. Just follow display all the lines that begins with test. So it should be like this kind of cap at the beginning to tell like it's starting, right? So I think it's the last one. How do we get help on using info command? So info will also invoke like the info thingy, manual info as well. What are the two families of Linux shells? So Bonaden cells and then C shell. Right. To make changes to kernel, blah blah parameters are found under proxies. So proc is a pseudo file system. So file have entries added to it. So it's sysctl dot configuration. That's where you can make entries or changes that will make it permanent for current parameters. Okay. Do you want lossless compression? It's JPG file, doesn't matter. Encrypted email, it does, I think. Maybe it doesn't matter, MP3 doesn't matter. So encrypted and log file, I think log file is more important than encrypted email, so I'm just going to select that. Originally ran only ran I think Intel 36, everything ran on that particular Intel machine, right? At the beginning. Now we have following commands run as a root and we prevent the user bug from logging. I think it's hyphen L, user mod hyphen L. Let me just log it. I will just lock the account. User mod D will just show the defaults configuration for it. Can be used to specify group IDs, either primary or secondary, small z and capital G, small g for primary, secondary for Z, right? Will display the group that users belong to an ID command that should display it. What else? A user cannot delete a file if they do not own it. That is correct. Otherwise, everyone can delete originals. Bundling utilities management tool application software with the Linux kernel is called a distribution of Linux. A software release cycle describes how often the computer must be upgraded to support a new software, right? Allows user to execute command as another user. That's correct. Sudo command is that. Interpreted language is converted into machine specific instructions as program runs. Compilation step no requires tools to offer more feature than combined language. That's true. I think that those are the true ones. Okay, it's not like there is no compilation step. That's incorrect. Thinking step. I think that's correct, but it does offer thing as well. It's related to. I don't know about this question. I don't know. I mean, let's see. Remove command to prompt before deleting is hyphen I will, if you're using RM, like hyphen I will be interactive mode, ls hyphen capital S will basically by size from largest to smallest. You could reverse it with R, I guess. Hyphen R, small r, not big one. R is hyphen R, capital R will be recursive. I don't know about this, I just don't want to remember it as well. We check hard disk GPT partitions, so I think CF. And I will select this way. I'm just doing it random. Just doing it random. Two valid partition systems is MBR and CPT. Will contain user ID, so it's of course MC password. Deleting a source file will bring an associated hard link. That's false because it will just be referring to the same hardware area. Okay, any questions? 86. Make a mistake. Let's just check. This one. Group mod commands will be. Ah, I did two. I was meant to do calls. And the software doesn't have copyright. Should be free to share. No? Okay. Okay. Of course, you can have any kind of copyright and all subject. It does not specify. It just says that you have to, the source code should be open. That's pretty much it. Anything else? Sorry, I'm scrolling a bit fast. That is false, okay. So even though I use it to own it, okay. So I could give a good example from this. This one is like about to root. Even though the router is not full file, you can delete it. Right? That's the logic that I'm inferring, okay. So it's not how often, it's about how often the upgrade comes out for the software. It must be upgraded, must be. It's not a must, right? Even though the software comes out, you don't have to update it. It's about how often the software updates come out. You just don't have to be upgraded to the new software. That's correct. There are so many silly mistakes. All right. A bit logical questions. And all, but I just messed it up. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you did enjoy the session. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.